You are locked in a stone cell beneath the greatest arena ever built. Above you, 50,000 Romans have just watched your husband die fighting a lion. The crowd is leaving. The torches are dimming. Then you hear footsteps heavy, deliberate descending the corridor toward your cell. A shadow fills your doorway. It's the gladiator who survived today's massacre. He's covered in blood that is not his own. A guard unlocks your door. The gladiator points at you. This is not a scene from a modern horror movie. This was a Tuesday in the Roman Empire, and what you are about to hear is a part of Roman history illy taught in schools, but extensively documented by Roman writers themselves and carved into the stone beneath the Colosseum. This is the hidden machinery of Roman power, a system that combined entertainment, war, and human exploitation into one of the most organized structures of domination ever created. Rome's forgotten system. Popular culture gives us the image of gladiators as warriors fighting for honor. Films like Gladiator and Spartacus show courage, rebellion, and dramatic combat, but they rarely show what happened in the hours after the games ended. When the public spectacle was over, the arena became something else. Part prison, part warehouse, part processing facility for human beings. Modern historians refer to one aspect of this system as victoria carnalis, the carnal victory. The Romans did not use this term themselves. They did not need to. For them, this behavior was so normal, so embedded in everyday life, that it required no special vocabulary. Roman writers such as Martial, Juvenal, and Seneca describe the environment without horror, without moral judgment, and often with disturbing casualness. Their words, combined with archaeological evidence, reveal a system where conquered populations, especially women, became part of the logistics of state-sponsored entertainment. This was not random cruelty. It was organized, documented, and in many ways bureaucratic. The inventory of empire. To understand how this system functioned, we must begin at the moment of conquest. When Roman legions captured a city or crushed a rebellion, they did not simply claim victory, they processed entire populations. This was a standardized procedure. 1. Men of military age, executed or enslaved for mines, quarries, or gladiatorial training. 2. Children, sold through slave markets across the empire, often separated permanently from families. 3. Women of childbearing age, classified as captive state-owned war captives, transported to military camps, slave markets, or amphitheater holding facilities. The Roman legal system categorized conquered people as race, meaning property or objects. This placed them in the same legal category as livestock or furniture. A captured woman now had no legal personhood, no right to refuse, no right to appeal, no right to exist as an individual under Roman law. This is not later interpretation. Roman legal texts state this plainly. To the Roman state, conquered people were part of the economic output of victory. The role of the arena. The Roman games were more than entertainment. They were a political instrument. They served as a reminder of Rome's dominance, a tool of mass distraction, a demonstration of the fate of enemies, a stage for imperial power. During the morning sessions, citizens witnessed animal hunts, executions, and reenactments of mythological stories. During the midday lull, when many elites left for lunch, the most shocking displays occurred. Condemned prisoners reenacted tragedies from mythology, but with real deaths. Martial describes a prisoner dressed as Orpheus who attempted to charm animals with music. Instead, a bear attacked him. The crowd applauded. Another record describes a woman forced to reenact the myth of Pasiphae, who in mythology mated with a bull. In the Roman arena, this reenactment became a fatal assault. These events were viewed not as atrocities, but as public entertainment, and as lessons. The message: this is what happens to those who resist Rome. The gladiators' place in society. Gladiators occupied a complicated position. They were slaves with little legal protection, property of a ludus gladiator school, trained combatants with immense value, celebrities admired by the public, symbols of discipline and strength. Women of the Roman aristocracy wrote graffiti admiring their favorite fighters. Pompeii contains phrases like Celadis, the heartthrob of the girls, carved into tavern walls. Their sweat, mixed with oils, was sold as a cosmetic and supposed aphrodisiac. Yet despite this fascination, Rome was haunted by the memory of the Spartacus rebellion. A small group of gladiators had nearly destabilized the Republic. For this reason, the Roman state tried to maintain a careful balance. Harsh punishment, strict surveillance, and calculated rewards. One such reward was access to captivea, practice mentioned indirectly in Roman texts and supported by archaeological findings beneath multiple arenas. Modern historians interpret these references as evidence of a structured system designed to reward gladiators while reinforcing their status within the hierarchy of Roman power. Descent into the hypogeum. Below the arena floor lay the hypogeum, a vast network of tunnels, elevators, cages, and cells. It was an underground city with its own logic. Animal holding rooms, mechanical elevators, guard stations, gladiator preparation areas, storage zones, and designated holding cells for captives. The most disturbing chambers share certain architectural traits. Small stone rooms, benches built at specific heights, iron rings fixed into walls, heavy doors that locked from the outside, scratch marks on the stone, no space for long-term living, positioned away from main traffic corridors, in Capua, Pompeii, and beneath the Colosseum itself. Archaeologists have identified multiple such rooms. While the exact use of each room cannot be determined with absolute certainty, the combination of physical evidence and textual references leads historians to conclude that some chambers held captives, intended for use after the games. Inscriptions found scratched into walls provide an emotional, sometimes heartbreaking glimpse into the lives of those held there. One reads, "I was Amelia of the Brigantes. I saw my children killed. Now I am nothing." Another inscription, written in a Celtic language, translates as, "To any god who listens, let me die before tomorrow." The process, Roman administrative documents, show a logistical pattern in how captives were handled. The process likely worked as follows. Captivae were catalogued by imperial officials known as commentarii, who maintained property ledgers. Women were assigned categories based on province of origin: Germanica, Britannica, Judea, etc. They were distributed to state-managed facilities, including amphitheater holding areas. After certain games, gladiators who performed exceptionally were granted privileges of the victor. Under these privileges, they were escorted through the hypogeum to select or be assigned a captive. The records do not describe the events inside the chambers, but Roman law, Roman architecture, and Roman writings leave little doubt about the nature of these interactions. Importantly, these acts were not illegal. They were part of state infrastructure, managed with the same efficiency used for aqueducts, roads, and military logistics. Rome did not view this system as immoral. It viewed it as practical. The women's experience. Historical texts rarely mention individual women. Their stories appear only as numbers in inventories, not as voices in literature. But by studying the process of conquest, we can reconstruct the trauma they endured. A typical captiva might have experienced the destruction of her village, the killing or enslavement of family members, forced marches, public humiliation, branding or marking as state property, medical examination for fitness, transport to Rome or another amphitheater city, confinement in a stone chamber, exposure to the sounds of executions above her, the knowledge that she would not leave alive. These women had no legal right to protection or bodily autonomy. They could not appeal, resist, or even legally define their suffering. To the Roman state, they were assets, material resources acquired through war. This was not incidental to the empire. It was part of how Rome projected power. Power, control, and propaganda. Rome's dominance relied on three pillars: military victory, spectacle, psychological control, humiliating conquered populations, especially women, reinforced Rome's message. Resistance brings absolute subjugation. Josephus records that after the Jewish revolt, women were taken and distributed among soldiers and in public spectacles to demonstrate the total loss of autonomy suffered by the defeated population. This practice was not symbolic, it was meant to destroy morale for generations. The rare case of female gladiators. Occasionally, women fought in the arena itself. These fighters, known as gladiatresses, shocked Roman society. Some were slaves forced to participate. Others were wealthy women seeking attention or autonomy. Juvenal expresses disdain for such women, commenting sarcastically on the shame of a woman who wears a helmet. However, when Emperor Septimius Severus attended games in 200 CE that featured female fighters, the reaction of the crowd revealed something important. Greek spectators watched respectfully. Roman spectators jeered and sexualized the fighters. This reaction embarrassed the emperor, not because the women were fighting, but because the spectacle disrupted the seriousness of the games, blurring the line between entertainment, sexuality, and imperial dignity. As a result, Severus banned female participation in gladiatorial combat. But crucially, this ban did not affect the hidden system beneath the arena. It only removed women from public visibility. Archaeology speaks. The strongest evidence for Rome's underground practices comes not from texts but from stone. In multiple amphitheaters, the Colosseum, Capua, Pompeii, NGMs, Verona, archaeologists have found similar chamber designs. The repetition suggests a standardized architectural approach, much like gladiator barracks and animal facilities were standardized. Features common across sites include narrow entryways, reinforced doors, stone benches at a consistent height, rings embedded in walls, minimal lighting, proximity to guard walkways, absence of storage or tools that might indicate another purpose. While scholars debate details, the consistency across regions supports the theory that these spaces were intended for the management of human captives, especially in the context of post-combat rewards. Rome's SELF image. The Roman Empire viewed itself as a bringer of order and civilization. Philosophers and poets praised Roman law, engineering, and political stability. Yet the empire also relied on widespread forced labor, enslavement, and public violence. Rome could not acknowledge the darker aspects of its system openly. Its identity depended on the belief that it was morally superior to the peoples it conquered. Thus, certain practices, though common, remained largely unspoken, not because they were secret, but because they were accepted. The brutality occurring beneath the arena did not contradict Rome's values, it expressed them. Why this history was forgotten? Several factors contributed to the disappearance of this part of Roman history from mainstream cultural memory. Roman writers often treated these acts casually, not as remarkable events worth detailed description. Early Christian chroniclers focused